Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back. Brandon again. Today we're going to be talking about a rack that I've been dying to get my hands on for quite some time. And that's the StrongArmSport combo rack, which is the rack I'm in right now. You've been seeing a lot of videos filmed in it. You've also seen a lot of video clips of me using this lately and posts on Instagram, and I've been getting a ton of questions and requests to review it. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. But in order to do that, of course, I need to give you some context. So for me personally, you guys know my buying criteria usually is trying to emulate a competition style feel because I do compete in powerlifting. As part of that, that's really dictated some of my bar choices, some of my other equipment choices like my competition plates, but it's never really swayed me to buy a combo rack. Now, if you're scratching your head and not sure what a combo rack is, as the name implies, it's a combination rack, meaning you can both squat and bench in it. It's oftentimes used in powerlifting competitions because you can do 2 of the 3 main lifts in them. They're very compact and break down quite easily and easy to move around, so you could just take it off the platform and also deadlift there, as opposed to having a separate monolift and then maybe a competition style bench. You can do everything all right in this rack, and you can adjust the weight up and down while the bar is loaded. So if you have a bunch of different lifters of different heights and wanting bars in different positions, it allows you to do that very easily and very quickly. Now, that being said, one of the main reasons I've never gone in and bought one is because of price. And that might be funny to some of you longtime viewers because I've been dinged for spending way too much money on my home gym. And it's true, I do like to spend money on good quality equipment. But that being said, for a combo rack, for one of the well-known brands like ER Equipment, Eleiko, Elite FTS, with shipping and tax included, I'm looking at well over $3,000. Even if I were to look at more budget-friendly options like Texas Strength Systems with the options I'd want and shipping and tax including again, I'd still be looking at around $2,300. So when I saw that StrongArmSport was offering a combo rack for $900 shipped, I had to get my hands on that rack. Now, that being said, one of the things I've seen a lot with them and people who've commented who have used it really kind of say, it's not an Eleiko, it's not an ER, it's not as good, and it's not supposed to be. In fact, if you go onto the StrongArmSport website, they say that right there. This is not one of those racks. In fact, it's pretty funny. I was talking to the owner of StrongArmSport about some of the concerns that I've heard from you guys, and he had a really good quote that I liked. And he says, "You can't expect American or European quality at Chinese prices." So given the fact that this is $900, it's going to have some flaws. In fact, if you take a look at a normal combo rack being able to fold in with the uprights and whatnot, this rack does not do that. There's some other kind of flaws or downgrades that this rack has, but when you take a look at it, that's because this rack was really just a competition bench at one point that's been modified to have higher uprights so you can squat in it and the bench can be taken out. So it wasn't really made to be a combo rack. It's not made to compete with ER, Eleiko, Elite FTS, or anything like that. But then again, it only costs you $900 to your door, so you can't expect the world for it. So I just want to get that out of the way because I know I see a lot of that. I am going to go through this, however, tell you what I like and tell you what I don't like, but I do want to just remind you of the fact that it's a $900 combo rack. So with that being said, let's go jump into it and let me tell you about this rack. The StrongArmSport combo rack allows you to squat and bench in a compact space of just over 4 feet by 5 feet. It's also rated to handle 1,000 pounds, is powder coated in black, and is built to IPF specs. Now, it aims to give you the same experience as a competition rack at a fraction of the cost. However, with that price difference, there are some trade-offs, namely construction and functionality. Besides being compact, the combo rack also offers integrated plate storage. This serves 2 main purposes: to give you a place to store your plates, but more importantly to act as a counterbalance so that the rack doesn't need to be bolted down, although the company recommends it still for obvious reasons, but the rack has 4 spots to be bolted down for your convenience. While the plate storage works well, the downside is that the adjuster arms can get in the way, and the angle of the storage pin can make getting heavy weight more of a hassle than if the pins were horizontal instead of angled. Speaking of the adjuster arms, they work well to allow you to quickly change the rack height with a loaded bar. The combo rack comes with 4 heavy pins to be used for this, and adjusting the rack is quite easy. The posts for adjusting are nicely done, and they include laser cut numbers to help easily identify the rack heights. At the top of the post is a bar holder with integrated roller. The roller is made out of nylon, which protects the bar and also allows for easy bar centering. The rollers are user replaceable, but I've found the nylon seems to hold up well to wear. I will say that I do think the white makes it appear dirty quite easily, and overall these do the job well, although I would like to see the tops of the catches extended a few inches to prevent missing a re-rack, and adding some UHMW plastic to the back of the catch would also be a nice touch to help protect the bar, like shown here. Attached to the squat catch is also a bench catch that hangs down and also contains a similar nylon roller. These look nice with StrongArmSport cut into the metal, however, these are one of my main areas of concern. The metal used does not seem as secure and oftentimes will shift back and forth when moving the bar around, which can be somewhat terrifying. It also doesn't help settle my nerves looking at the attach point. Now, luckily, I don't bench very much, so if they were to break, it shouldn't hurt that bad. And I do like the idea that this user had when putting in UHMW plastic not only in the catches, but also behind to somewhat fill the gap. If there was ever an issue on bench, the fact that this unit has built-in face savers is a very nice one. These can be adjusted so that if you were to fail a rep, they would save your face, and these are easily adjusted and I had no issues with them. What these are not for, however, are for squatting. Not only are they not rated to have a bar dumped on them in that fashion, but these only really cover the benching area. So if you were to walk the weight out and dump the bar behind you, there's a good chance they wouldn't give you proper coverage. You should always use spotters when squatting with a combo rack, regardless of the manufacturer. Next, let's discuss the bench itself. As mentioned earlier, it's user removable. However, it's not as easy to do as some of the other combos that I've used. The main issue here is that most of the other racks use what's known as a drop-in design, and the StrongArmSport one uses one that hooks into the back support of the rack itself. It's then secured using 2 hand screws. Now, these screws are in a very low and awkward position, and it's also very difficult to line up the bench accordingly to screw in. That being said, though, once the screws are out, the bench is very easy to remove. One thing to note is that when my bench is attached, one end seems to stick up. However, this is not an issue when laying down to press, but one last potential issue is that the spotter footplate seems to be in a very awkward position. To me, it seems like it, and the bench itself, is a little bit too deep into the rack compared to where the bar is. So this makes handoffs very difficult as I'm unable to get over the bar and get better leverage. If I get in a good position, I find my feet are hanging off the end of the platform. Now, moving on to the pad itself, it isn't super sticky, but I also didn't seem to notice any real slipping issues either, at least compared to what I find in a commercial gym. Now, while it does meet IPF specs, the height on this tends to be on the lower side, so you may find it feels lower than other combo racks you may be familiar with. Finally, a nice feature that's made its way over from the competition bench days of this product is the ability to use band pegs. So you don't often see this with most combos, so the fact that you can do banded squat or bench press work here is really nice. So there you go, that's the StrongArmSport combo rack, and for $900, it gives you a competition feel at a price that's a steal. That's right, I'm dropping bars, and I'm not talking about barbells. But this offers a great option for a lot of people at a great, very attractive price. Now, that being said, if you're in the market to start a home gym and you're looking at a power rack or a combo rack, I would still almost always recommend going with the power rack as the first choice. I think overall, it's a lot more versatile in terms of exercises you can do with it, as well as accessories you can add to it, and most importantly, the safety aspect of it. A power rack is a lot safer than this, or any combo rack. Even if you're squatting in a $3,500 Eleiko rack, power rack is still going to be safer almost every single time. Now, that being said, who would I recommend this combo rack for? Well, if you are starting a new home gym, and again, are looking at a power rack or this particular rack, and you're really short on space, so you need something that's very compact or takes up a small footprint, or maybe you're dealing with something with very short ceilings and you don't want to custom cut a rack or there's no rack available, this would be a great option for you because as long as you can stand in that room, you can squat in it using this combo rack. And again, if you buy this, a barbell, some weights, and maybe a couple of stall mats, you could squat, bench, and deadlift all in like a 10 by 10 square foot area, which just so happens to be the size of many small second bedrooms out there. So, just saying. Who needs a kid's room when you can have a workout room instead? Try running that by your significant other. See how that goes over. But this offers a great option if you're looking for something for compactness and being able to do all the things you need to do for a powerlifting style training philosophy. Now, who else could this be for? Because obviously, I have a power rack and I have a combo rack. So this is a great option for someone who's looking to get, again, that competition feel, but doesn't want to pay $3,000 for a combo rack, something that they're not going to use all the time necessarily. So at $900, this lets me get my foot in the door, gives me that same feel as I would in competition, and at a price that doesn't break the bank. So that's great for someone like me as well. It's also great for people that own gyms that maybe host a lot of competitions and don't want to spend a lot of money on having several real expensive competition combo racks. Instead, they might be able to get 1 or 2 real nice racks and get a bunch of these for the warm-up room or just for everyday Joe Schmoes out there and not really worry about breaking the bank. But overall, I don't think you can deny that for $900, this thing has a lot to offer, albeit you have to put up with some of the flaws that are inherent into something like this. So hopefully that helps and answers any questions you have. If you have other questions about this or any other equipment, leave them in the comment section below. But in the meantime, as always, thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you next video.